over here in West Virginia is Napier's. Now, the interesting thing was when I left Napier's, I had no cell coverage. So when I went to click the link to try to bring this route up on Google Maps, it didn't come through. So I sort of just followed the map that you're left with on the app with just roads. And once I reached Pritchard, then I actually had coverage again. So following back along the river here, ended up crossing down in Louisa and then heading up into back up into the mountains from here. This drive was so much fun. It was up and down, and so you'd climb up and get to the top of a ridge, and then you'd twisty your way back down to a valley, and you'd scoot along the valley, and then it would be up again, and it was just a whole lot of that. And yeah, I didn't think to record it on video, but I would highly recommend this route down through this part of Kentucky. Specifically, I would say between this Martha, Kentucky, and Louisa. Just even more specific between Adams and Martha. Just really special. Continuing through on this 556, there was one section here where I was on, and it may have been this section coming out of Sandy Hook, where this was basically lane and a half country road. Yeah, a lot of fun though, a lot of fun. And for the most part, the roads were basically empty. So ended up catching Route 60 on it for a little while, cutting through Moorhead, and then getting on to 32, and then taking 32, kind of heading towards the northwest, just making my way specifically towards Route 22, which was one that had been recommended. You start up here, just outside of Powersville, and you're on, although again, this part through here, obviously Mount Olivet, plenty of twisties through here. The first part of 22 is really fun, all the way basically to Williamstown. After that, it's okay. It appears to be a lot of squigglies, a lot of twisty roads, but for the most part, it's sweeping turns. It's fun. It's far more fun than driving on an interstate, but you're not getting the hard turns where you're having to kind of slam on your brakes and go around. So I took 22 all the way till it really made no sense anymore, and hopped onto the interstates to get myself down here to the fairground area, which is where the host hotel is for the convention. All right, I'm on Kentucky State Route 22 West, and this was one of the recommended roads. And the rain has pretty much stopped. The roads are still wet, but I still think it's worth recording. With wet roads, a little caution. This won't be driven like I drove the triple nickel in Ohio. The speed limit in the state is 55. I've been driving roads like this for pretty much the entire day, and it's now 3:30 in the afternoon. Most of the time it's been dry. Just beautiful hilly country. Big part of today was going in and out of hollows. Dropping down into a hollow and it being relatively flat and straight for a while, and then having to climb a little ridge, go back down,
Wow, some of the turns were like 5 and 10 mile an hour turns, hairpins. It was, second gear. Just, it's been a blast. Kentucky has got, and West Virginia for that matter, but Kentucky for today has been amazing. So I can take this 22 all the way into Louisville. And it's been, for the most part, empty. I got behind a garbage truck, but one of the occasional passing zones allowed me to get by him. The roads have been decent, condition-wise. Sometimes I've hit patches where they've recently been repaved. More cautious on these crests, not knowing what's on the other side. They're not doing a lot of marking, which is different than the triple nickel was yesterday in Ohio. They did more warning of what was coming ahead. I can kind of cheat and look at the at Google Maps, and it will tell me if I'm getting to a tight, twisty point. I can see on the map now that not through here, but coming up in probably less than a mile will be some pretty good switchbacks. Yeah, again, beautiful country, beautifully green this time of year. Up on top of ridges through here now, I can see way off in the distance. Yeah, we're getting close to slower turns now. It'll be a pretty significant right hand to kind of start us off through the switchbacks. I had one that was over the crest before I turned the camera on. It said 15. Yeah, it was 15. It was... The road dropped away, so traction was gone, and yeah, I was thankful no one was coming the other way that time. So, and the road, thankfully, it just, it was a God thing. I'll blame him. The road went from very, very wet to good grip all of a sudden when I needed it right there. I would have been in someone's pasture. All right. To be fair, it wasn't that close. Whee! That was a little drift in there. Some of these roads as special as they are. 55 mile an hour speed limit helps. I was on a one lane, no line down the middle road for a while. That was pretty crazy. knows how the locals pronounce the name. Going over this railroad track any faster than that. Alright, I'll bring you back when the roads get twisty again. And we are back on 22. There actually was a speed limit of 45 miles an hour. Pullover was very muddy. See if people actually go 45. Also see if I've got the mud off my tires. That was kind of slippery. inspection here. I'll bring you back once Google and I come to a agreement. This is not the road I would have expected. Okay, I see what it's doing. It says you wanted to go on curvy roads. I'm going to keep you on curvy roads. Even less of a speed limit, but I have a feeling that this is going to be okay. Lane and a half wide, proverbial gray road. Good turkey vultures. This is going to catch back up into 22. We'll call it some sort of bypass. Bypass with curves. It's a 55-mile-an-hour place to get some gas. These tight, twisty roads, and third gear, a lot of it, and 10-gallon tank. Reading about a quarter of a tank. I think once I'm back on 22, there should be little towns. Yellow line. Got very wide down that gentleman's driveway. Figure out where the real road